Welcome to the party. I'm not here right now, but I want you to listen very carefully. It's showtime!
Hello and welcome to Bags of Action. My name's Steve, my co-host is Pete.
Hello.
This episode we are talking about Con Air from 1997, part 1 of our Cusack attack.
Cusack attack.
There you go. You came up with that last episode.
I did.
It's our trilogy devoted to John Cusack of action movies, and not the most likely hero you'd think to appear.
No, and without jumping ahead, he does more action stuff in this film than I remembered.
This is true. Yeah.
A lot more.
And here's a weird fact I found out today.
Ooh.
John Cusack has made 17 films in 4 years.
What?
And a lot of them were straight to DVD.
How is it possible to make that many films in that amount of time?
Yeah, so...
quick shoots, I suppose.
He's done all sorts of films, and some of them were, straight to DVD, like The Numbers Station, which I think is on the list of one of the films.
I think it is on the list.
I
think that was on TV the other day as well.
Yeah. So he's made 4... Yeah, in 4 years since The Raven, he made 17 movies, which is kind of...
The reason I can't keep up with you is for some reason, despite the fact this is Cusack Attack, I've just looked up Christian Slater on IMDb.
Why?
I don't know. I just typed in the wrong name.
Okay. So he's done all sorts of films going straight to DVD. No, don't start this again. Christophe Lambert, The Carrier,
right, finally.
Drive Hard, and all these, The Factory. Some of these films I've never heard of, and with good reason.
Drive Hard is on the list.
Yeah, The Factory. Have you heard of that before?
No.
It's got Jennifer Carpenter in from Dexter. I didn't even know this film existed. It's 4 years ago.
Raven, I remember.
Mm-hmm. Reclaim from 2014. What's that? What is it?
I don't know.
Ryan Felipe. Probably don't pronounce it like that, do you?
Well, no. See, that one was correct, but I don't think I do it as that.
So yes, he's done a lot of films. That's my point.
A lot of
films. Some good, some not so good. And we've picked a few for our third part of our trilogy. So
I think by watching this film, we have a new most appeared director.
Oh, please tell me it's not Bruckheimer.
No, actually, because Bruckheimer is a producer, and it is a very, very, very Jerry Bruckheimer film.
Okay, phew.
But no, the director Simon West.
Ah, okay.
Expendables 2,
yeah.
The Mechanic, and Wild Card.
Yeah.
And now this is the fourth one.
Do you think we can get him on the show?
Him, Fenelon Saunson, Christophe Lambert.
Oh, God, no, stop it.
We could do Lara Croft, because Simon West also directed Lara Croft.
Which one?
Ooh, I think the first one?
Oh, right, okay. The only good thing about that, either of those films, is not, what's her name?
Angelina Jolie.
Stop it with the stupid... The only good thing about those two films is Chris Barry. That's the only reason I'd watch them again.
Fair enough. I don't know if I've seen the second one. I saw the first one and then didn't watch the second one.
Enough, I think. Con Air, we should get on with this.
Yes, we should.
So, as you said, it was directed by our favourite director at the moment, Simon West,
yes.
Who, I don't know if he's involved in the Mechanic Rejiggered, or whatever it's called, part 2.
I don't think it's called Rejiggered. I think Resurrection.
Resurrection, that's it.
Resurrection.
Yeah, don't know if he's in that one. Re-erected.
I don't think it's Resurrection. It's directed by Denis Gonzel.
Oh, God. Anyway, we are doing this. We're doing this.
Yes. Sorry, this is going to be the longest episode ever. We won't actually get to the film. So, yes.
Oh.
This stars Nicolas Cage.
Nicolas Cage, probably.
Nicolas Cage. Nicolas Cage, of course, named after Luke Cage.
Yes, he took his stage name from that, because his real name isn't Cage.
It's Coppola, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Indeed. There you go. So, this is all about Poe, Cameron Poe,
yes.
Who's just a southern boy who's got off duty. Is he a Marine? Is he a Green Beret?
Army Ranger or something?
That's it. Yes,
they never leave a man behind.
Sure, that's standard practice for any army units, but you know.
You'd like to think so.
It's like, sorry, that's the other ones. We don't do that.
We leave everyone behind in Scarpa.
Yeah, we laugh at our teammates when they die and get injured. Just leave them there.
Yeah.
Harsh, but you know, apparently only Rangers save people.
That's true.
So he comes. He's free. Is he finished his tour or something?
Well, I don't know if he's finished his tour or if they're trying to make him seem a lot younger and he's just like passed out. Not passed out like collapsed, but passing. I don't know. I couldn't understand if he was passing out or it makes more sense he's finishing his tour because he knows what he's doing. So this is the quickest start and the amount of time that's covered. 10 years passes by the end of the credits.
Is it 10 years?
Yeah.
That kid isn't 10. He gets 7 to 10, doesn't he?
7. He gets on parole, so 7 then. But 7 years then. That's not a long time.
We should say how he gets there.
Yes. So he comes back from wherever he's been, and then this very strange scene. He's in a bar with his pregnant wife. Best place to take your pregnant wife, I was thinking, the bar.
No, she's working there.
Oh yeah, it's even worse.
Yeah, she works there as a waitress.
Yeah,
and 3 of her regulars start harassing him. And her. But it's what I don't understand, right? It's not as if she's, 1, not massively pregnant, and 2, he's her husband, not just a boyfriend, and yet they're still going, you should come and have a drink with us. And like, hang on, it's a husband?
And it's people like you that lost us Vietnam.
Yeah, that's what they say to him. It's like, right, okay.
It's a bit odd. That odd. There's a lot. I mean, I put here the dialogue is super cheesy, but that is the running theme. But
there's a lot of Edam in this. In this film.
So he they're hassling him, getting the car park there, kind of pushing him around again for no real reason.
But they just wait on him. They don't just start pushing around there and break a bottle and start to beat the shit out of him for real.
Just because he's
just because.
I don't know.
Which it didn't. That was kind of. I know this film pushes the boundaries of reality many times, but this was the most bizarre one. You know.
It would have made more sense if one of them was hassling her and he walked in and then sort of threw them out.
Yeah.
And then they all came back after him. Something.
It's a bit of an extreme.
I don't know, unless there are parts of America where people from the armed forces aren't popular. I don't know. As
far as I can see, every time they see someone, they say, thanks for your service and all that sort of thing. They're very sort of proud of people who have been, in the armed forces for them, as it were.
So he basically fights back and kills the main guy.
Which doesn't work. It's a film thing that's not actually true, but we'll leave it for now.
Okay.
Because it's one of these things that they always do in films that say you can kill stuff like that. Did it in Last Boy Scouts? Not true. It's not
under the chin.
Yeah, nose into the brain thing. Doesn't work. It's a kung fu thing that they made up for films to look.
So how many times have you tried it?
Shh.
I'm sick of this job. I'm leaving. Push.
So what are we trying to do? Doesn't matter. Just keep walking.
Excuse me. You're supposed to stop at a zebra crossing. Douche. Anyway, so then you get. Again, this very quick sequence.
He's killed a man. Boom.
He's killed a man and he's sent to prison. Now, flash forward, but he's borrowed the hair from Van Damme in Hard Target.
Yep.
And this is very cheesy and it does feel like a parody, but you live through the 7 years by him reading out in his southern drawl the letters he writes to his daughter. And then she writes them back, but he's never met her, you see, because she wasn't born. Yeah. 2 months after. And July 14th is my daughter's birthday.
And I'm going to release on July 14th. So on July 14th.
Should have waited till next month and released this on July 14th. So, and he's got a bunny cuddly toy, which doesn't feel that important.
No.
But it is.
Oof, yes. Very.
And he's made friends. He's very charming. I think I'd say Nicolas Cage is very charming in this film. And he's made a friend called Baby O.
Yeah.
Or Baby O.
Did you know there's a scene, right, where it's all kicking off in the prison and there's fire and there's people throwing flaming toilet rolls and there's a riot and stuff. Yeah. And he just rolls over in his bunk, staying out of trouble. And do you know what it reminded me of? It just reminded me of that scene in, I think it was a Simpsons episode, where the equivalent is happening, and it's the kind of Arnold Schwarzenegger parody character, and they're all kicking off in the prison, and he goes, "Guys, keep it down!" And they go, "Oh, sorry," and they close their cells and get back in. It was just so kind of on the nose of, that's what this looks like. I'm
physically keeping myself out of trouble. Because most films wouldn't get you through 7 years of prison in the titles.
No.
But you would have, a lot of the story would be about the stuff in prison. But I quite like it in a way because of what happens later. It's kind of, you know what, this guy's kept his nose clean. He's been fortunate enough to be put in a cell with a relatively decent guy. Played by McKelty Williamson from
Boomtown and things. I've seen
Forrest Gump.
Yeah.
And what a film that I absolutely love called Truth or Consequences, New Mexico.
Never heard of that before.
Which is directed and starring Kiefer Sutherland alongside him and Vincent Gallo. It's very good.
Okay.
Very, very 90s, but then saying that, so this film is extraordinarily 90s.
Yeah. Very. Anyway, so yes, they are hitching a ride on a plane.
Yes, on the Exposition Express.
Yeah, it's the Exposition Express. This is a special plane, gentlemen. These are the
worst criminals. These are the worst criminals of all time.
They're being transported to a super max prison to deal with these animals. They're all animals. It's like, okay, we get it.
This film is very good at setup. I mean, because you find out that Baby-O hasn't had his insulin shot, and you straight away go, whoop, whoop, plot point. There's a friendly female guard called Bishop. And then it's quite clever because there's a lot of exposition. This guy is explaining what the plane is and what it's for. And that's when we meet John Cusack playing Larkin, who is mouthing the guy's speech behind him.
Yes.
I remember suddenly a lot of this film came flooding back, and the casting in this whole film I think is exceptional. But Nicolas Cage I think is perfect, but I think John Cusack is absolutely perfect for the part that he plays as well. It really suits him.
Yeah, so he's a US Marshal it's his plane, they're looking after the plane to transport all of these maniacs, and they're all going to go, and the FBI, and is it DEA are also there? Yeah,
because Colm Meaney's character, Malloy, turns up. And again, another thing that these kind of films are very good at doing is very quickly, in broad brushstrokes, giving you information about the character. So when he turns up, he's in a soft-top car.
With the license plate, Ass
Kicker. That's right. And he parks in a disabled space.
Yep, yes he does.
But at this point, I've put here Super OTT Big Rock soundtrack, which I found out later is by a guy called Trevor Rabin, who's from the band Yes. But there's the amount of characters in this film is crazy because even this early in the film, you've got some big hitter actors, particularly at the time, I think, for an action movie. But there's a great, So the DEA, the reason they're there is they're sending someone in undercover. One of the guys is going to pretend to be a prisoner. Yeah,
because there's a big drug dealer coming on the plane who's supposed to know some stuff, and he still hasn't spoken, and this is the last chance for them to try and get some information out of him, so this guy's going to go on the plane as a prisoner and pretend, and that's what they're doing.
That's right, and Malloy wants him to have a gun. Larkin, John Cusack character, doesn't want him to have a gun.
And Malloy sneaks one on him, and then again...
A sock, that's right. And I loved it, again, this is cheesy, it's a bit like The Wrestling, but it does work for this film because this film is unashamedly over the top and has kind of almost a B-movie exploitation kind of feel to it. So every time a new inmate walks to the plane, John Cusack tells the other characters who they are.
Yes, it's really, really good actually. They're just because it's that thing of in Creed, they're able to freeze the frame, give you a bunch of info on the screen. If it was a comic, they can just show you a panel and bing, here's a dialogue box, and underneath it tells you who the character is. But with this, you can't do that. So it's a case of having Larkin say, "Oh, this guy is Cyrus the Virus Grissom." he's done this, he's that, he's a doctor, blah, blah, blah.
Diamond Dog.
Diamond Dog, who's Ving Rhames, he wrote several books about this, that, and the other, and life in prison, and blah, blah. And it's just, there's Billy Bedlam, who's killed a bunch of people, and it's, really, really nasty guys.
But they also use this as a way of setting out the difference between Larkin and Malloy, which is very, cut and dry, really. Cusack is all about rehabilitation. He's all about taking the sociologist approach and theories and things. And Meany just calls them all animals.
Yeah.
So it's very, polar opposites. That's a word I can say. Polar opposites in terms of their thought process. And then again, it all comes flowing back because Poe he's getting hitching a ride home essentially, which is very unbelievable. Why they put this guy who, he has committed manslaughter, but mitigating circumstances and has been like a model prisoner. Why they just do you know what? Jump on this. Well, it's because their prison was being closed as well, which is a bit of a contrivance.
Yeah.
But you straight away suddenly, as soon as you see him on there, you go, hang on, this is the John McClane of this story. This is Casey Ryback. This is that is who he is supposed to be, and he is fulfilling that role very well as the kind of everyman, but an everyman who can handle himself.
Yes. So they all get on the plane and take off, and within minutes, I want to say, a plan. Pinball.
Dave Chappelle, isn't it?
Yeah, who starts sitting next to a Native American, and he says, "Sorry, Chief, if you survive this, no offence, it's just bad luck." And he sets him on fire. He
does set him on fire, but it's like at this point I was thinking, and I've seen this film quite a few times before, but I was like, it's so fast. The amount of plot that happens is crazy. But yes, so they're all there. Kind of Diamond Dog, which is Ving Rhames has got
a lockpick
in his wrist.
Cyrus has got one as well.
Yeah, but they're all chewing the scenery like crazy. Danny Trejo is there. Johnny 23, not a nice character at all. He's a rapist, but they're all kind of. They're just the hamming up is probably the wrong word, but it's a ridiculously heightened film, a bit like something like Face Off. But everyone is kind of rising to that same level, and because of that, it works. Because I think if you had a couple of characters or a couple of actors whose performances were either taking it too seriously or being too out and out comedy, but the tone I think is just really. It's what I would want Expendables to be like.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
But so they start shooting the guards, and then again, plot point 2, Baby O's insulin bottle gets smashed under someone's foot.
Yes, no, they break the needles. The only thing he's got left is one of those like case things. So unless he has a needle, he can't get it into his system. Yeah. So they're in trouble now. Prisoners take over the plane. They're trying to decide what to do. And Cyrus says, well, we're going to do exactly what we said we're going to do. We're going to land in this one place.
Carson City, isn't it?
Yep. We're going to take so many prisoners off, take the other prisoners on, and then carry on so that by that time they won't know where we are. And that's the plan. But the problem is 3 of the people who got shot in the struggle are the 3 prisoners that need to go off the plane. So Poe agrees to go, and
that's one of them. That's right.
And they put 2 of the guards in gags and masks, so you can't really see who it is, and they're going to get off the plane, I think.
That's right. And then the DEA guy basically pulls his gun out, and who did he say? I can't remember who he's taken.
Pinball.
He takes hostage.
Yeah.
And again, Cyrus has had some great lines already by this stage, but he carries on and kind of. But Poe tries to talk the guy down, and then Cyrus shoots him. But straight away, then Cyrus takes his interest in Poe. As he say, nice work, Poe. Truly nice work.
Yeah. Yeah. Because he tried to talk him down rather than, but it didn't work. So the DA agent is dead. He starts winding them up on the radio. Does he do it now or later? I can't remember.
No, later.
It's later, yeah, that's right.
Because at this point he's gone in and started talking to the pilots and stuff, but
yeah,
we did. But he talking about sending the pilot off, and then I think it is Poe that says, how. how are you going to do that? Because Baby O is going to get off because of his incident, but he can't get off because the people are supposed to all be white.
Yeah, the 3 prisoners are white. So Poe says he'll get off, try and get some
blow the
stuff.
whistle, save him, and that'll be that.
So they land in Carson City. Meanwhile, they've been inspecting Grissom's cell, and they've found some stuff, some blueprints, and they don't know what's going on. They land in Carson City, they get off the prisoners, they get the new prisoners on, and this is where you get one of the best prisoner transport scenes since Silence of the Lambs.
Oh, okay.
Since you had Lecter in a mask on a trolley, this is like turned to 11 on the dial.
Yeah.
And then they're going, who's that? And these are all really hardened criminals. We know this. They're all monsters. They're absolutely horrible. And then they're all going, oh my God, who's that? You don't know that's Garland Greene. And he's supposed to have killed like 50 people in horrible ways that they don't even want to talk about, that freaks these prisoners out. And then they get him out, and he's wrapped up in a mask, and he's got things on his hands, and they're all carrying him with sticks to keep him at a distance. It's brilliant. And it's a tiny, tiny little Steve Buscemi.
Yeah, and he seems wonderfully unassuming.
Yeah.
But very, very clever. And that's why, again, every character has got something about them. So Poe decided he wanted to stay on board, didn't he? Because Baby O couldn't get off.
Yeah.
And he grabs the picture of his daughter off the guard. He took it from him earlier. But what they find in Cyrus's cell wall is the schematic of the plane.
Yes, blueprints
and a letter in a very easy to work out code from a law firm
that says about going to Carson City.
That's right.
So he's something's going on. He's not sure what. They land in Carson City. The prisoners get off. New prisoners get on. Pinball's got off, and he's chatting to someone. He's found this woman, and he's chatting her up, going, "No, I'm a marshal. Yeah, prison transport. Yeah," and he's chatting her up. Meanwhile, Swamp Thing gets on, who's a pilot.
Oh, yeah, he's this sort of crazy guy as well.
Yeah. He gets on his venue pilot. And then something starts to go wrong because Poe's planted a tape on one of the prisoners who's got off, which is one of the guards, and they realise something is up. And the police start turning up, so they have to try and take off in a hurry, and Pinball realises far too late and starts running after them. At this point, he gets to the window and peers in, and it's the chief, and he just gives him the finger, and Pinball, and the chief just laughs at Pinball, and we think that's the end of Pinball at first.
Yeah, we do. And they've also at this point, I think, taken what it's called, the black box thing, out of the plane. Yeah, and they've placed it, which, again, there's some beautiful little gags in this film. They've placed it in a tourist kind of scenic trip, Uncle Bob's something.
Bob's plane, yeah.
Yeah, and they've placed it on their
plane joyride sort of thing for holiday people. So they're chasing them in the wrong direction. They realise something is wrong. It doesn't matter. They've taken off and gone the other direction. They can't take off properly. There's something wrong. They've got too much drag. So Poe gets sent down underneath to see what's going on. And down there, they find Pinball, who snuck in on the wheels. He sort of jumped inside, but he's dead because he's frozen to death.
That's right.
Which is just quite nasty way to...
it is, and again, these little things that you just forget rewatching it that have happened. But other times around here as well is so this is when Larkin calls Cyrus. So they're quite worried because it's like, well, not only they got the plane, they've let Garland Greene out of his box.
Yeah.
Which isn't ideal. So Poe's trying to find out the plan, but then they call in, and Malloy is just a complete dick. He's easily riled and is just like shouting and swearing, and basically Cyrus said, I don't want to speak to him again, I'll speak to you, just to Larkin. And then you see that the wife and daughter are in the airport. The US Marshal tells them that he's going to be delayed a bit. But it's interesting as well because Poe starts to kind of try and chip away at people. So he's talking to Diamond Dog, who's a black militant.
Yes.
And basically, like, why are you following this white guy? And he starts saying he's got, a plan for later. Yeah. And then Larkin at this point realises that Poe is the one helping out. He planted the tape. He's an ex-military guy who made a mistake. So actually, we've got an ally on the plane. It's another good reason not to shoot it down. Because again, Malloy and Larkin's rivalry is key at this point, because again, it's that kind of almost right-wing, left-wing debate that they've been having through the whole film. So they want to shoot the plane down. Larkin isn't happy, but they're off to shoot it down, basically.
Yeah, they go off in helicopters of gunships, essentially, to go and shoot down the plane, but it doesn't matter. They're not going to find them. And
before we find Pinball, it's dead body, we find out that they're going to they've got to go to another place to change planes, because it's been funded by a drug cartel, because that
drug dealer on the plane who's supposed to give the information has been helping them out in return for an escape.
For an escape to Mexico.
But meanwhile, Poe's written a message on Pinball that shoved him out the plane.
Pinball Wizard. And again, another really funny moment. So there's this old couple driving along in their car, and they're kind of bickering and talking about, the car, birds crapped on it, we need to get it waxed.
It's supposed to be good luck, the wife says.
And then
Pinball lands on the car.
That's basically just lands on the car.
Just destroys the car.
In a moment that hasn't aged well, but he does land on the car.
Yes.
So, but there's another great way to, I've forgotten the name of the guy, but someone finds out.
Billy. It's Billy.
Billy, that's right. He finds out that Poe you said you had 15 years, but you weren't on my block.
Yeah.
And he's like, there were 150 guys on that block, and I didn't want to know 149 of them. But again, perfect casting, because you get these conversations between Garland Greene and Poe.
Yeah.
This guy, he's just really clever. It's almost like a DVD extra of him kind of commentating on what's going on, and he knows everything that's happening. He's worked out that what Poe is doing, but it doesn't. It's nothing to do with him. He's a sociopath. He's not there to escape. He's just there because he happens to be there.
Then they happen to let him out of his cage, and Sarah says to him, "Big fan of your work." And the Diamond's like, "Really? You want to let him out? Really? All right." But they're just like, he's going to bite their face off or something. But yes, Poe has a fight with Billy downstairs, and he gets to say the great line, "Put the bunny in the box." Oh, no, put the bunny back in the box.
Yes.
He's found out about.
Yeah, he's found his parole letter, and he's like,
they have a fight, and he kills Billy in the sort of baggage area, the storage area underneath the plane. And that's into Billy.
He kills him with a metal rod thing, and then when he comes back up, I say Garland Greene, Steve Buscemi turns around and goes, 2 went up, 2 went down, 1 came up, and that's all he says. It's just, but then he starts talking about killers, and I love this bit because he's like, and then Poe's kind of angry because he's starting to think about his wife and his daughter, and he's also worried I think he's going to be discovered, and so the first time he kind of loses his cool, and he's like, stop, you're insane, you're a killer, you're insane. And then Green sort of goes, what is insane? Is it working 50 hours a week for your whole life, then retiring, having no money and dying? Maybe that's insane? And it's just, again, I think the script in this film is exceptional from a dialogue perspective, because even though it's kind of rattling through this crazy over-the-top plot, the little character moments and the humour, kind of dark humour particularly, is ridiculously consistent, I think, throughout. I don't know what you think about
that. It is. It's just...
Well, this is the bit where he goes, one girl I drove through 15 states wearing her head as a hat. Which still makes me laugh. Like, in 1997, it made me laugh a lot. Now, I'm a lot older now, and I'm also a parent. Yep. And so that kind of thing makes me not laugh anymore, but I still laughed because it is so dark and so absurd, but and he delivers it like he's...
But,
a glass of milk.
Steve Buscemi is just like, probably one of the nicest guys ever, and yet they're all terrified of him. No. And he's so unassuming, and he never does any threatening ever. Like, in some of the other films, you have this guy always worse to the worst, and he's quiet until you get a moment where he looks at someone or he snaps. Not once in this film does he ever do anything to suggest that he's violent at all? When there's a couple of scenes later on.
It's that age-old thing of guys, what, so-and-so? My neighbour? No, he's such a nice guy. Keeps himself to himself, so unassuming. He is that.
But there's a couple of scenes later on with what they told you about him that made you really...
They still... Even though I knew what happened, it's very uncomfortable.
It's very uncomfortable. Very uncomfortable. But anyway... So Larkin land at Lerner's
Field, and Larkin arrives there now because he read Poe's note. It sounds ridiculous, it was written on a dead man, but he did read his note.
Yeah. And he's stolen...
he's stolen Malloy's car to get there, which is brilliant.
Because he's that amount, the guy said, I'm out of choppers, I'm out of planes, so you can get there in a fast car. And he goes, okay. Then he steals Malloy's car.
And again, it's just the humour, like that. Him stealing the car is funny, and you know straight away that at some point that car is toast.
Yeah.
And that Malloy's going to find out. And it's really obvious. But even there's little things that they don't need to do, but they do, and it's really funny. Like the plane is coming in to land in this airfield, and it nearly hits this little like Cessna, and then the guy gets out of the plane. Like really angry, like I'm really angry that big plane nearly hit me. So he comes running over, like right you, and he looks around, and it's all these kind of crazy convicts, and he's like, never mind, and kind of runs off.
He runs off in a direction.
There's no reason for that scene apart from the fact it's funny.
And they have a callback to him in a bit as well.
And I do wonder if at some point, because the soundtrack to this film is also very over the top.
Yeah.
And as the tension and the action gets more intense, the guitar seems to get higher pitched. Right. And I keep thinking at some point there will be a place where you can't take a guitar any higher because it's just crazy. When you listen to it again, it's bonkers. Okay. Absolutely bonkers. But so the plane, there's also a running joke, which feels very kind of Buster Keaton or Harold Lloyd, that Larkin just keeps almost being hit by planes, and everywhere he turns, something nearly hits him in the head and he has to duck.
It's true. It is true.
5 times in a row.
He runs up to the top of the tower, and that's really close, and then he gets another bit, and something else gets really close and knocks him off onto the floor, doesn't it? And then the engine from the jet knocks him over. So yeah, it's like three things in about 5 minutes that knock him on his back.
Yeah.
So Larkin goes to try and find out what's going on. Poe gets off the plane to help everybody else.
And he takes his shirt off so that he can wear a vest because he can look more diehard.
Yes, and he's actually gone to look for some insulin, and he's running around this learner. It's like a post-apocalyptic terrain with just in the middle of the desert, and all the buildings are empty and hollow, and it's like, there's no one lives there. Garland Greene gets off the plane and goes for a walk.
Oh, yeah, okay. So Garland Greene goes off for a walk. And you think, okay, this doesn't bode well. And then he finds a little girl about
trailer park,
in a trailer park in a disused swimming pool.
Yep.
Who's having like a tea party with her dolls, which in itself is quite eerie. Mm-hmm. And then he joins her, and they sit and drink imaginary tea.
Yeah, and then she says, "Oh, I like to sing. Do you know this song?" And then she starts singing. It's got the whole world. He goes, "Oh, I do know that." And she goes, "Oh, come on, join in." And then they do a really creepy thing with the camera. They change the camera positioning, so they put it from Garland's point of view. So he's looking down at this tiny girl.
Yeah.
And then it goes back to his face, and he's singing, and it goes back to that point of view again. And it's really unnerving. You're like, just said he drove through a state with a woman's hat. Head on his...
I know. With a girl's head. It was a girl's head.
On his... A girl's head on his... Yeah.
Deliberately set up to make you go, oh my God, please don't let anything happen. And then she looks at him and goes, are you sick?
Yeah.
And he goes, yes. And she goes, do you take medicine? You can't take medicine for what I've got. Mm-hmm. And it's just so dark.
Uh-huh.
But there's this whole, again, every scene, it kind of the next line ups the ante on before. So this is the point where it's like, tell my wife I love her, she's my hummingbird. Because he meets up with Larkin. Tell my wife I love her, she's my hummingbird, but I couldn't leave a fallen man behind.
Yes.
And it's like, what are you going to do now? I'm going to save the fucking day.
Well, at that point, I did roll my eyes. Now, perhaps when I saw it in 1997, I probably thought, yeah, man, I'm 39 years old now. I like to go to bed at a reasonable hour. I don't like to drink too much.
But, I mean, just before this, he started to influence Cyrus in little elements. You can see he's kind of... he stops them from killing the guards because he convinces them they need them as hostages.
Yeah.
So he is starting to... But I didn't remember how much kind of crazy running around there is at this airfield and how little time they actually spend on the plane now. I'd completely forgotten this whole section, really. So basically, he was supposed to... this is the place they're supposed to change planes, but and they can't find the plane. But the drug lords are in a smaller kind of hangar with a very small plane which you can't fit that many people on. So they're really just grabbing their guy and they're going to double-cross them.
Mm. Larkin gets involved, and so does Poe. They shoot all the drug dealers and think they're all dead. Yes. They then realise, Cyrus and the rest realise what he was doing.
They start flying off, don't they?
Yeah.
Cusack is knocked to the ground for the 5th time.
It's true, yeah. But he manages to stop the plane taking off because he drops a crane on its tail.
That's right. Which I don't know why no one wondered. Who dropped that crane?
Yeah.
Who did drop that crane? He says, that crane just happens to have been dropped. It's a bit odd.
Yeah. While this is all happening, Poe's running around from one building to the next looking for stuff, trying to find something. And then there's the plane Cyrus realises it's been double-crossed, they're all shooting the plane, the Cusack knocks the tail off and it crashes, and then Cyrus realises what he was doing, so he blows up the plane. This is where Poe's found... No, that's right, he's in a diner, sees what's happening, runs... it's really stupid. He sort of runs and then jumps through the window of the door onto the floor, and it's like, okay.
And you do get that running away from the explosion in slow-mo moment.
Yes, they have to have it in the film somewhere. And
but it's also
a funny moment again.
Oh, under the car?
Yeah, because he jumps through the window and rolls under this car.
But I'm not being funny. This old man under the car.
Yep.
I wouldn't have thought anyone... There's been explosions, there's been gunshots, there's been planes crashing, there's been people being shot.
Yep.
Why is anyone there?
well, equally, there's that little trailer park that someone lives at.
That's true. It's not that far away. So I can't remember what he says to him when he's under the...
Well, he goes, don't shoot me. And he goes, I'm not going to hurt you, old-timer. Something like that. And he goes, oh, okay. He goes, I'm looking for a needle. And he goes, son, drugs is not the way.
That's right. But it's like every incidental character, at the very least, is to be in a gag.
But then he sort of says, well, stay here and then you'll be fine. And he goes, I can't stay for too long. I need to go for a piss.
So the convoy are basically moving now because the army have turned up, haven't they? And they
know they're there.
The middle of this place. But this all gets very kind of A-Team MacGyver-y, where Cyrus puts a plan together. Again, you see how kind of clever he is, and he starts to get all the cons kind of running around.
But there's that comedy moment again, where he's putting out the plan, and he goes, okay, we haven't got much time, this is what's happening. This is us, this is this. And then one of the guys goes, what's that? And he goes, that's a rock. And flicks it.
Yeah. It's totally out of character. I wonder if... I don't think it's improvised because it's still just a very odd line.
Just like, this represents us, this represents that, what's that? That's a rock.
Yeah. So they get in the propane tanks. Larkin is on the radio then, trying to get them to fall back, but it's too late.
Yeah.
And again, then Poe runs through another fire.
True.
Then over cars. Bonkers. But Johnny 23, the horrible rapist Mexican guy, is...
Johnny 24.
Yes, he's on the plane trying to attack Bishop, who's the female guard. I really can't read my notes. So
Baby O's trying to stop him, but he's really in a bad way because
he's kind of he's crawling on the ground, basically.
Yeah. Poe comes in, sees what's about to happen, knocks out Johnny 23, and then says something like, shouldn't treat women like that. On with a punch.
Which, like, now you think, no, you shouldn't. But then it's like, it's 1997. We have to spell it out. Really.
Yeah.
So he should not.
Punches him until he's unconscious, then handcuffs him and ties him up, and that's it. And then he's got, Bishop's free. He's got the insulin for...
They've got the rope off the plane so they can...
And he's about ready to go and get off the plane, and then, of course, everyone gets back on the plane and they want to take off again.
And at this point, Malloy's car is tied to the plane. So when it takes off...
Yeah, the hook snags it.
And it flies up in the air. And Malloy kind of thinks, that looks just like my car. It can't be my car. And then it drops next to him upside down. He's still like, well, I'm not sure it's my car. And then the number plate with ass kicker on it lands.
Yeah, Larkin's like, I borrowed your car.
Sweet Home Alabama plays, which played earlier in the film as well. They used that song quite 3 times, I think.
Yes.
And then a very nice moment for all those of us that were very worried is that the little girl is waving goodbye to the plane. So she isn't dead.
And Garland's sat on the plane holding her Ken doll.
Yeah.
Which is just still wrong.
Is he singing it at this point? Is he singing?
No, that's later on when he's about to crash.
Yes, that's right. That's right.
But I was like, that's not right. He's still just not right.
It's not. But so this is when things start to turn. So Diamond Dog finds the box of post things in, reads the letter. And I love this scene. So he shows the letter to Cyrus. And I think John Malkovich, I've heard him in interviews recently kind of laughing about the fact that he even did this film. Because I know he's been in other kind of genre stuff and other action films. But, you know, he's a very well-respected actor. You know, more of a kind of theatre type actor, really.
Yeah.
And you just you wouldn't have thought of him in this. But the pairing of him and Ving Rhames together, I think, is brilliant. So they realise who the inside man is. They know that it's Poe. They don't let on.
Babio says it's him because he says
that's right. But Cyrus has already worked it out. But he just wants to.
Do you think?
Yeah, because I think Diamond Dog's just told him that. I think they're just playing with them. He's playing with them before he wants to kind of do it on his own terms. I think.
I didn't know. I thought it was They didn't know. But Babio claims he's the one who killed Billy. He's the one who sent the message to let people know they're coming to Carson City. And he's saying, yeah, it was all me. And
then Poe's like,
okay, fine.
But Poe's like, oh, no, he doesn't know what he's saying. Then he shoots him. But then as soon as he shot him, he straight away is starting to mock about the letter. So I think he knew all along. Because then he's like, my daddy is on July the 14th, and my daddy is... And he just keeps repeating it in this kind of really spooky way. But maybe not. That was my take on it.
Yeah. So it's all gone a bit pear-shaped.
Yeah, the helicopters are outside. We forgot to say, actually, that the helicopters scare the life out of the little tourist plane when they fly over the horizon. Again, there's all these little tiny comedy moments. But this is the most OTT and by far the most American part of the film. Mm-hmm. When Babio is kind of really struggling because he's been shot in the stomach. And he's like, there is no God. And then Poe just goes, I'm going to show you that God does exist.
Yeah.
And then, like, the presence of the thought of God it makes him then able to kind of run through people, punching them and, like, impervious to pain.
Yeah. He punches one guy straight in the face, knocks him out. Another guy goes and shoots him. It clips him on the arm. He just keeps going. Doesn't even feel it. Knocks him out. Gets to the front of the plane, locks the other gates so they can't get to him, and then tells the Swamp Thing, okay, land this plane, do it now. Yeah. You got to land it. And so he's like, well, okay then. Cyrus is going mental.
It's an odd thing from a kind of... It's almost like, wow, we've got this situation. We need to get him now to kind of stand up to them. Can't really find a way for that to happen, really. Oh, just sod it. He finds God and then he just punches people. Very odd, very odd. And again, I don't remember that bit at all from seeing it before. So at this point, Malloy is in a helicopter and he's going to shoot down the plane, which has always been his plan. But Larkin puts his chopper, for want of an expression, in the way to block, doesn't he? So he
chopper block.
Proposing in the cockpit, as you said, and they've locked the target. Then he's kind of saying that he's there, and then
he's on the radio, but they've got to land.
Malloy's little character arc is he eventually says, "Hold fire."
Yes,
and that's the point where the female guard Bishop hits Cyrus in the face with a gun.
Yes, because he's distracted, and he goes, "What?" and turns around and just hits him in the face with a gun. So they're going to have to land, but Swamp Thing's saying, well, we're not really going to land so much as crash because the plane's damaged and we're going fast.
They can't reach the airport in Vegas, so instead they're heading for the Strip. But as Malloy says, that's great. So now we've just saved this one guy But it's okay. They're about to land the plane on, thousands of civilians.
Yeah, so that's okay then. But this is where Swamp Thing comes on the radio and says to everybody, look, tells the rest of the prisoners, we're going to crash the plane, so get settled in, get strapped in, we're going down. And that's when Garland Greene starts singing. He's got the whole world in his hand again, whilst holding his Kendon. And they're all left on the prisoners are staring and going, oh my God, we're going to die. And he's crazy, shut up! Yeah. They're all freaking out anyway, and he's making it worse.
And then Johnny 23 is going, Cyrus, trying to get him to wake up. The guitar has gone up another octave in the stratosphere. And then Cyrus does wake up, and he's got a gun on Poe, and he's basically says, the last thing your daughter will smell is my stinking breath. Which, maybe
she gets some breath mints?
Maybe. Then the plane crashes in a very long sequence into a casino, and then this is going to happen, comedy moment, which I'm not sure this is actually possible. I don't know if this would happen when a plane hit a casino, but all the machines start paying out.
Yes, they all hit top, and and all the money comes out. Yeah.
And then they deliberately make this like a fake ending in a way, because it does feel like the end of a Lethal Weapon or something similar, or Cold or something, because Baby O's taken to the hospital, although I'm pretty sure he'd be dead. Yep. But he's been taken to the hospital. They're all kind of crawling out. Johnny 23's arm is the only thing left.
Yeah, that's still in the handcuff, and the rest of it is not.
And he's going to go to the birthday party. Bishop kisses him on the cheek. You hear the sirens in the background. You feel like the camera's going to start to pull away. And then you see that Cyrus is he climbing onto
the back of the fire engine.
Yeah.
That's driving away. Poe spots him. Larkin spots him at the same time. And they both race to police bikes like Chips.
They do. I put like Chips here too.
What did I write? Choppers to the rescue. That's what I put.
Even though he could have just gone, if his whole plan was to save Baby O, that he's done that, so he could have just let Larkin go and deal with Cyrus and gone to his wife, who was literally 100 yards in front of him.
Nope.
But no, because he's a hero, because he's a good American, and because he has long hair.
So Swamp Thing, Diamond Dog, and Cyrus have escaped.
Going off down a tunnel in there, and Diamond Dog is shooting. Cyrus turns the hose on people. And then Poe climbs up there. He's under a ladder, isn't he?
Yeah, and he's trying to poke at him with a stick.
Yeah. But these are the things where you get these kind of films where there's a really good actor that's been cast, but they're not really an action person, so the fight with them is going to be a ridiculous stunt double who looks nothing like them, all very quick.
It's very quick. It's just kind of him jabbing at him with a stick. Then they get to a bridge, don't they? And Cyrus just gets... It gets the stupid comedy moment. He goes through the bridge, then he falls off something, then he lands on a conveyor belt, then he goes down the conveyor belt and gets off at the end and lands, and you think, oh, that's okay. And his head is just under this giant weight thing that comes down and
flattens him and kills him. So he's managed to kill him, but he didn't actually kill him on purpose. It just
kind of comedy mousetrap game to kill Cyrus the Virus.
And him and Larkin have almost become like partners at this stage, haven't they? Because he's there with the axe to kind of open the cab of the fire engine. And then the bunny, unfortunately, has been lost in this whole fight. And it runs down the road in the water, and it's just about to fall into the drain, and Poe reaches in with his hand. And I've put here, this is the cheese on toast moment.
It is. It is just like completely ridiculous.
Yeah. And there's a nice bit, because when he met Larkin before, Larkin says something to him and he goes, I trust 2 men in the world. One of them's me and the other one isn't here.
Yeah.
So now he goes, I trust 3 men. I trust 3 men now, Larkin, which is a great moment until Larkin goes, is the third one me? It's like, why did he say that? And then... Again, they're shaking hands. People in the street are catching money because, again, money is raining from the skies.
Yeah.
But then you realise that one person has escaped. One convict is unaccounted for.
Well, you don't actually see that because you have the reunited moment first, don't you? You have Poe reunited.
Did you see that first?
Yeah, because it's right into the film's ended before he gets that. So So Poe reunites with his missus and I got you this money. To his daughter. Yes. He looks terrified
But I think that's quite a nice moment because she has never seen him. He is covered in blood and he has a mullet. So
and a dirty, scruffy, funny toy.
So I think, actually, the fact that she kind of cowers away from him is a nice touch, because it could have easily been, "Oh, Daddy," straight away, but it takes a few...
But she says she's seen a picture of him and vice versa. Like,
but he's like, then he says, "I should have got my hair cut."
Yeah, I'm thinking you should have, yeah. So then he reunites with his wife, and you think, yay, it's all over at the end. And then the credits are supposed to roll, and then it doesn't. Because the camera pans away, but it goes into the casino, and I thought, what? And I went, oh yeah, I remember now, because I thought I'd forgotten something. And you think everything's all done, everybody's either dead or accounted for, and then you hear, new shooter, coming up. Do you feel lucky? Someone picks up a pair of dice.
And he goes, yes, and he's there. Sweet Home Alabama, and he's playing
Garland Greene.
Yeah.
He's quite a jacket from somewhere.
He has.
So first time I watched it, I probably thought, yay, hooray, it's escape. This time I'm thinking, okay, a serial killer who's killed 50 people is loose in Las Vegas. Why is that a good thing?
Because it's Las Vegas. It'll be fine.
Who terrifies everybody.
Celine Dion is not safe. But one bit we missed before this actually I think is a nice moment where Larkin and Malloy they meet in the middle in a way, because I think Malloy has shown he can be a little bit more sensitive and thoughtful, and Larkin's just been kind of kicking ass. So they get a buddy cop kind of moment at the end with a few the typical buddy cop thing, and they're still giving each other jibes, but it's much more friendly. And that's quite nice. You could easily make another film with those two. They didn't.
No.
But who knows if they're going to announce Con Air 2.
It may have gone straight to DVD at this point.
It might have done. John Cusack on his own. And do you know what I love about this film is the end credit bits, because you don't see this very much anymore. It's a very old school kind of 80s thing, that they cut any scene they find with a character laughing or smiling, and then they use that as a little sequence where their actor's name comes up. And that's a lovely end to the film, even though they're all meant to be these horrible mass murdering, but they're smiling and laughing and their names come up.
No.
It's almost like the "you have been watching," you know? I like that.
Hi. Or hello.
Ding, ding.
No, doesn't know what that is. Go on.
All aboard the jailbird.
It's true.
So, there we are.
We kind of rattled through it, but...
We did rattle through it more than usual, but there's so much happens in this film.
We've missed some stuff because there's just too much going on.
It's got that yellow-orange Bruckheimer sheen that Tony Scott films have. This was Simon West's first film, which is kind of crazy, really, considering what a big budget and stuff it was, and the cast and everything. But yeah. So have you seen this a few times before, or?
Yeah, so I must have seen it when it first came out originally, and I've probably seen it a couple of times since then, enough to remember it. But
well, I saw it twice in the cinema.
Right.
I owned it on VHS, and then I bought it again on DVD.
I think somewhere we've got it on video.
But I haven't bought it on Blu-ray.
No, I haven't got a Blu-ray player, but I think somewhere we've still got it in the house on video. But there's some bits I've forgotten, like the old man under the fire truck and some of the lines, but there's some bits that just stay with you.
And it's you could like Nicolas Cage in the 90s. I just think he picked the right projects that fit his kind of...
Like Face Off and stuff.
Yeah, well, he is like almost a hyper-real human being. So he fits these big projects. What he doesn't work in for me is when it's not like that. He works in like Coen Brothers films and in stuff like this. But although did you see he was at a Comic-Con recently and spent like thousands of pounds? He was buying stuff at every stand.
Well, he's a massive comic book fan. He just reads them all the time. Yeah. That's just one of his things. But well, hence his name. I mean, come on, his name.
Yeah, true.
So, are we ready to do this?
He once turned on the Bath Christmas lights.
Why?
He lived there.
Oh, okay.
Someone I knew put a note under his door saying, "Would you do the Christmas lights?" And he said yes.
I didn't know he ever lived in this country.
Yeah. Yeah, it's true.
All right. I believe it. Right, shall we do some scores?
Yes, that's probably more sensible.
Okay.
Do next.
Get your ass to Mars. Enough with the yakety yak. What is your score?
Who wants to go first?
I don't mind. I don't mind.
I'll go first then.
Okay.
Okay.
He's got the whole bags in his score.
What do you do? Whole bags, no half bags.
That's true.
So, probably should say, those who've never listened to the show and don't know what we do.
Yes.
You have to give it a score out of 5, 1 to 5 bags. There are no half bags.
Which makes it very hard.
Yes, because, well done. Because there's some films that you'd think, I'd give it a 6, and it's okay, it's not great. No, it's really difficult here. You have to just do it.
3.5, I think, would be my default if we were allowed.
No, not allowed.
No half bags.
No half bags. So, it's been a while since I've seen this film. The cast is amazing. Going in, I'd forgotten how cheesy it was, but once I kind of reset my brain to just go, all right, yeah, it is a bit of cheese on toast, and there are some really ridiculous lines, and it is so over the top, you've either got to go with it or just turn the film off. I thought, right, I'll just go with it. So I kind of watched it, made notes, paused it, and carried on. Some bits were still terrifying, mostly with Garland Greene. Some bits were terrifying because of Nicolas Cage's mullet. Some of the one-liners really were grating. But I think, given this is the John Cusack trilogy, before we talk about him a little bit, he was really good. He fit the role. He played it relatively straight. There was no smiling to camera or anything, but he did do some fun things like steal the car, and he was very earnest in his attempt to save Poe and save the plane. So I think he was probably one of the best things in the film. Some of the others' performances were just so over the top as well, but just ridiculous. Steve Buscemi stole every scene that he was in because he was just so creepy. So I enjoyed it, but probably not as much as when I saw it the first time.
Yeah.
So back then, I probably would have given it top score. Now I'm I don't know, maybe I'm just a lot harsher judge. So I'm going to give it 3 bags.
Okay. Interesting.
I think watching it now, I actually think it was too long. I know there's a lot of stuff in there.
Yeah,
we didn't do everything.
It didn't need the length of the ending, and it loses something once they land.
Yeah. It felt like a 2.5 hour film. It wasn't. It's only about 2 hours or something.
Yeah.
But there's so many things going on. Maybe because there's so many characters, they're trying to serve all of them. So it loses some of that. Like, you could have just taken the whole of that Johnny 23 out, and he would have stayed for Baby-O anyway.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I felt like they just had to justify some of the things and the budget perhaps. So it was good, but not as great as I remembered. So I'm going to give it 3. What about you?
Okay. Well, I'm very conflicted with this. I found this one of the hardest ones to score.
Really?
For many of the reasons you said.
Okay.
And I'm still thinking through. I'm a bit like I do in when I go for food anywhere. I take everyone else's order, I go and place the order, and I'm still looking at the menu and reading the specials right until the second I give my order. And that is what I'm kind of doing here. I'm kind of not sure. Do I want rice? Do I want chips? So I don't know. Like, for credibility, this film would probably get 1 bag.
Yeah.
For casting, it would get 5 bags. For humour, it would get 5 bags. I'm all over the shop. There was a time when I thought this film was genius, because it is so heightened and over the top. Very much a film of its time, a very 90s film. So, yeah, I've wavered between 2 different scores. I think, at the risk of sounding like a very old man, they don't make them like this anymore. I don't think. I've not seen a Fast and the Furious film. Maybe they are similar to this. I do not know. But I kind of wish they did. I wish you could get this kind of cast in a film. I wish the Expendables had been like this. I wish films... Because I put here, even though I've seen it a number of times before, even though it is beyond cheesy...
Yes, very.
I was still grinning pretty much all the way through it.
Right.
Just because there's something about it. There's something about the lines people come out with, what the characters are like, that it is just ridiculous, but in a good way. So with that in mind, I'm going to not give it what you gave it, which I nearly did. I'm going to give it 4 bags.
Oh, okay.
So,
has it lost something for you then? Since
this would have been a 5 bag film. it's one of my wife's favourite films, probably her favourite action film, and she said last night, she said, "Oh, what did you think of it? Is it as good as it was when you saw it before?" I said, "No, not as much." I went, "Really? Oh, maybe I should watch it again." I said, "No, it's not, but I think, like you say, it's just a passage of time."
I mean, it's a slight tangent, but I recently tried to reread Preacher, which is a comic book series, and I didn't enjoy it nearly as much as the first time.
When I read that in probably 1999, 2000, I read all trades, and I thought it was the best thing I'd ever read. Yeah. And I put them on the shelf, and I think 4 times I've started rereading and never got very far. Even at one point, I rattled through those. I was reading like a trade a day because it's so good.
I mean, maybe it's just I tried to reread The Boys. Like, I started reading it, I got the first couple of trades, I fell behind, and I tried to reread it again, and I actually hated it. And I got rid of the trades. So some things, but I would go and watch the Preacher TV series because I think they would take the content and do something different with it. Not to serve a wider community, perhaps a wider audience, perhaps, but equally they'd shave off some of the things that probably annoyed the crap out of me now rereading it.
Yeah.
And so it makes me wonder. I don't like remakes. That's my standard rule. But I wonder if they, remade one of these older action films, would they shave the half hour out? Would they trim out some of the other characters? Would they make it a leaner film?
I think they'd make it would be overly earnest if they didn't now, with
some
comedy interludes.
Yeah, it'd either have to be comedy sidekick, like when they tried to bring in the comedy into Dredd with Rob Schneider, or they'd go the other way and make it kind of
dark,
flag waving, proper over the top. I mean, one of my favourite action films isn't one of the most recent ones. Is the new Dredd film? It's just so good.
Yeah.
And it's like 92 minutes, maybe 72 minutes. It's something really, really tight and short, but incredibly dark. So maybe if they did this, they'd go very, very dark with it. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm surprised in a way it hasn't been mentioned about being redone, but I'm glad that it hasn't.
Yeah, I think its moment's passed in a way, and like you said, you'd never get the cast like this ever again.
No,
never to that degree. So. They'd never do it. The budget would just be like, no way. I mean, I'm amazed they got people like Malkovich and everybody back for a second Red film.
True.
Which was remarkable. The first one was great and a lot of fun. I watched the second one recently, and it was okay.
Yeah.
But I think it's one of these. It should have been a one and done.
Yeah. And so different from the book. You read the book?
No.
It obviously is still the same thing, but it's so different tonally. Everything about it is just one guy and the one character in the.
But then you've got people like Helen Mirren, who was in those films, is now in the next Fast and Furious.
Oh yeah.
Which that's just gone the other way. It's like, wait.
I think it's almost like because I think it's got nothing to do with Con Air in a way, but there are the kind of mid-level films aren't being made. There's cheap indie films being made and big blockbusters. It's almost like if you're not in a Marvel film or if you're not in a franchise film, what are you going to be in? Because there aren't that many films that are actually being shown in the cinema anymore.
Like Yoga Hosers, and it'll be there for a week and then it's gone.
Yeah, or you just do lots of animation voices, and it's a strange time, I think. There we are. Let's not make everyone sad. There's enough sadness in the world.
Yes. So, have you seen Con Air recently? Did you enjoy it? Have you ever seen it when it first came out in '97? What did you think of it?
Are you Nicolas Cage's former neighbour in Bath?
Was he a nice neighbour? Was he tidy? Did he put the bins out on the right day? Let us know.
Yeah. Did he have a weed whacker?
Yeah, okay. So, that's not a euphemism or something.
It's not.
No.
Yes.
Right. I'm off to lie down.
I'm going to get on a plane and sing Sweet Home Alabama.
Okay. That's it. Goodbye.
Good night.
You have been listening to Bags of Action. You'd better stick around for the next episode, because if you're lying, I'll be back.